Hey family, it's Josh from MAMABEAR Prepping. Happy hump day. I hope that you guys are well and doing well. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. You already know what time it is. Get your drink, pull up. This is what I'm having this morning. Need me a little pick-me-up. So I want to jump right into what's happening around our country right now. You know, lots and lots of violence. And some of you would be like, what does this have to do with preparedness? What does this have to do with stockpiling food and stockpiling medicine? And why do we need to be concerned with threats, if you will, and violence, and understanding and watching the violence that's happening around the country? So, you know, obviously, we've had to deal with a lot of mass shootings and different things, a lot of murder, suicide type stuff, families killing families, like just a lot of people under a lot of stressors, a lot of anxiety over finances and over the economy and over, inflation and juggling bills and budgeting and all this stuff. And so there's all these stories, there's wacky stories of beautiful families, and one of the parents, deciding that they can't do it anymore, and not only are they going to kill themselves, but they're going to kill their entire family, right? A lot of mass shootings, especially lately, just a ton of mass shootings, little tiny mass shootings. When I say tiny, I mean, a handful of people. And but still devastating nonetheless, right? And so a lot of mass shootings going on, a lot of just violence, right? Over the weekend, if you didn't see the news, just some crazy rioting and protesting happening. I'm not even gonna say protesting, rioting. They dubbed it in the news the teen takeover, this thing in Chicago. I don't know if you've seen the reports where there was a mob of hundreds and hundreds of teens just randomly in downtown Chicago, just tearing it up, rioting, pushing over cars, catching cars on fire, catching stuff on fire, just in the streets, being rowdy, causing trouble, harming people, attacked a couple that was walking down the street and beat them up. I mean, it's just, and for no apparent reason, just they're just out and about. And the thing is this isn't that surprising when you talk about and think about the things that are going on in our country, right? And especially, just by itself alone, the city of Chicago has been hurting for a very, 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 very long time. I said long time, in regards to their crime, their level of crime, their people getting shot, their murder numbers, all of that. Very, very dangerous city. And so just these teens, and of course, I don't even care about the back and forth about these teens and what to think about the teens and all this stuff. But I think of it like anything else, right? It's violence. It's violence. They are literally burning down their city. It's not right. They need to be stopped. I don't care how old you are. And this is happening more and more in Compton, in California, this weekend. Again, might have been Monday. Can't remember. But again, a bunch of rioting. Like they were on like 4 different blocks or 4 different areas. They burned down and was looting. They were looting like several different businesses, right? Gas stations, restaurants, for no apparent reason, right? And so this is going to happen more and more. And some of you might be like, Tasha, I don't understand what this has to do with preparedness, with prepping, with getting ready. And this is the thing. Right now, it's very calm. Yes, you can watch the news. You can see these things happen. You can be appalled that they're happening. You can even say a prayer and be like, pray that this stuff stops, this violence stops. But there's certain things that are going to happen that this is putting into effect. And one of those things, as we know from our government, in the agenda from the elites, is to take away our weapons, to take away the guns, and not allow us to have that stuff, to ban certain things. And the thing is it doesn't just stop with a ban. It doesn't just stop with some little red flag policy changes on who can own a weapon and different things like that. That's where it starts, and then it just goes a little bit further, before you know it, there's some reason on that list why you're not able to purchase a weapon anymore. There's some reason on there why the stuff that you have is illegal now, and now you're a threat, you're a threat to life and liberty. It just gets crazier and crazier. And the thing is that's not the problem. We all know that that's not the problem, and it's not going to fix the problem, right? Crazy is crazy. People that do not know how to handle things in life, mentally do not know how to handle things, strife, stress, anxiety, do not know how to work through stressors in life, end up in these places, end up in these moments where they decide that they want to hurt people. They are hurting, and so that they want to hurt people. And it has everything to do with our mental preparedness and mental game and all of that. And when it comes to looting and rioting aspect of it, okay, yeah, you feel safe because look, I don't think that I have to worry about a teen takeover in my neighborhood anytime soon, right? And so I sleep well at night. But I do think about riots. I do think about mobs coming through our neighborhood one day, because it only takes a certain crisis. When a catastrophe happens, when a world-ending event happens, chaos is in the streets, people are everywhere. And those mobs are not going to just stay in that little part of downtown in a big city and that's it. If you're a rural town and you think you don't have to worry about this, if you're in a suburban, you're in some sort of residential, well, they're not in the residential areas, they're downtown, it's businesses. I feel sorry for the businesses, but hey, they're not hurting people in regards to it's residential where kids, families are at. No, like this teen mob, they attacked a perfectly normal couple walking down the street for no reason. So, and it's not just, they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's a matter of when chaos happens, that stuff is going to not just be in the middle of these cities. It might start in those cities, it might start in those places, but those people are going to get bored and they're going to move out, especially if it's a situation where it's a catastrophic event where people cannot get supplies, where people cannot get food, they cannot get water, they cannot get medicine, and they're struggling and they are taking to the streets. That stuff is definitely going to move to residential. It's definitely going to move to where you live, and you're going to have to deal and think about dealing with mobs of people, a group of people, marauders, mobs, raiders, whatever you want to call it, a group of people coming to get something from you, right? And they're going to be moving through neighborhoods. And the thing is like, you have to deter them as much as possible. Be a hard target, but at the end of the day, when you're talking about a big group, that's just like, okay, well, we can't get in, this is too hard, whatever, let's just burn it, let's burn these people out just for spite, because that's the mentality. They're like, look at these kids on this video, look at them just wild, like, where are their parents? Like, and I get it, parenting is hard, parenting is not easy, you're not always there, you can't always be there to just hold their hand and be with them all the time. You could have all the time in bad situations, something happens and you hear about this kid was a good kid, he had straight A's, he did right? And something bad happens, right? Because they're running with the wrong group of people. They're not with their people. They're not with the people that they should be. And they end up in bad situations, and bad things happen when you're, doing bad things, right? It's super important to be talking to your children. I understand it's definitely, I feel for anybody who still has their kids in the public systems. I really, really do, because even if you are the most hands-on parent, that school system is something else. It's something else. It is a evil, dangerous place to have your children. And I wish I would have really thought it through at a much younger age as a younger mother, because even though I was in the military full time and I wouldn't have been able to just homeschool my child, but I probably would have taken him out of public school much sooner and just bit the bullet and paid for some sort of private schooling, right? Nobody wants to pay for that. Nobody has money for that, but I would have figured it out. And that's probably if I knew what I know now, that's probably what I would have done as a working mother, right? But it's hard. I know it's hard, but this stuff right here that's happening, this is going to get worse and worse and worse. More mass shootings, more shootings. It doesn't matter because these people they're messed up in the head. They have mental problems. And everybody thinks, mental problems, like they got to be some cuckoo crazies and, they should have been in the nut house. No, this is like regular people like you and I that are losing it, that are going through mental distress of whatever that is going on in their life. They don't have the right people or the right resources, the right whatever in their lives to help them get them through it, to adapt, to, ride the waves, to get through it, to understand, somebody telling them it's going to be okay, you can get through this, whatever. And that's hard because a lot of these kids, a lot of these people not sharing this stuff, right? They're not openly sharing that they're just in distress or whatever, but we have to be more mindful of the signs. We as a people need to be more mindful of the signs when we're just out and about. I'm just at Walmart or at the store or getting gas or whatever. I have to be mindful of these folks, right? That there might be somebody around me that is in mental distress, and I have my guard up, right? And I'm ready to defend myself. I'm ready to do whatever I have to do, because these folks are coming out of the woodwork. These situations are happening more and more. If you think for a minute that a mass shooting can't happen to you in your little town, you guys go to a restaurant to eat dinner, that can't happen, or you take the kids to Chuck E. Cheese or wherever, right? If you think that can't happen, you have to be aware of your surroundings and what's going on. And a lot of this is personal safety. A lot of this is personal distancing and understanding your surroundings, the people that are around you, watching, paying attention, not being in your phones all the time or your tablet or whatever it is, and paying attention, because these folks are all around us, and this is getting dangerous. You'd think of the statistics, right? Like, oh, I never thought this would ever happen here, until it happens here, right? So, even here, we've had some pretty big events here that I would have never thought. We had our mall was shot up. A kid was upset about a girl that broke up with him, and he wanted to go up in the store where she worked and shoot her up. And he went up in there. She wasn't even there. Shot up a bunch of old people just shopping during the day, trying to get some new socks and underwear or whatever, right? Just crazy, right? For no reason, because he was in mental distress and he was young. He didn't know how to work through those emotions and the stuff going on. And so he wanted to hurt people. Yeah, he wanted to hurt her, but he clearly was going there to hurt other people as well around her, whoever was going to be around. Right? And so to say that it can't come to you, we've had a shooting at a Walmart. These shootings at Walmarts are happening everywhere. I live small here. I'm not in the city. Okay. There was already a shooting, I'm trying to tell you where people got shot. So it's not that, you can't think like, well, will never happen where I'm at. Or, yes, is there things that are put in place that could make you safer than others? Sure, absolutely, right? You're in a gated community, something like that. Yeah, sure. But when the catastrophic event happens, you're going to have these groups all over the place. And you have to be ready for when they come, right? You have to be fortified, secured. You have to think about the things of what do you do if they start trying to burn down your house? What are you going to do, right? Is your house fortified for fire? Is it ready to take on, a Molotov? Will something as simple as Molotov catch it on fire and you're screwed? Or do you have the right siding and the right roofing that's not really going to do it? Okay? Think about these things. I think about these things with the future. As we move forward with projects and things like that, it's important to think about these things and think about what will you do when this stuff comes to your door. Is it going to be at your door tomorrow? Possibly not, probably not, right? But you need to be ready, and you need to have a head on a swivel when you're out and about. And don't be thinking, oh, it just can't happen here, because stuff like that doesn't happen here. It can. And so you need to pay attention when you're out and about, when you're at a restaurant, or you're at a gas station just pumping gas, or you're just, walking down the street. Like, people just be walking down the street and just get beat up for no reason or stabbed to death. That is happening everywhere, you guys. People just walking down the street getting stabbed to death. Okay, it's not cool, right? And this isn't just stories like that. Or, oh, it's in New York City. It's in the subways. It's New York City. Some crazy area. No, this is all over the United States. This stuff is happening, and so you got to pay attention. Keep your eyes open, because the worst is yet to come. The worst has yet to come. This is just the beginning of what we're in store for and what could happen and what we can expect, because folks are out of control and they're unhinged. And unhinged people are scary people. They really are. So get ready for the unhinged. It's going to continue to get worse. Prepare, head on a swivel, and be ready. All right. So you guys have a wonderful Wednesday. I will see you guys tomorrow in the next video. Take care. Bye.